And the ElseViews, I want to hit this because I love my ElseView. And and also I loved Corey's ElseView, and I'm going to do his ElseView here. I'm gonna well,
Phrasing.
I'm gonna enjoy his ElseView as well. Um, so it's a toss up. You want to do yours first, or shall we do mine?
Yeah, mine will be really quick.
Yeah.
I've seen so much stuff, and so many things that I could have thrown into my else views this week. Some of them were highs, some of them were lows, some of them I can't remember off the top of my head, so maybe that's why I didn't put them down. But the one reason why I chose this one is because I keep coming back to this. So a couple weeks ago, Beat, our producer Beatmaster, posted a link on Twitter. It popped up and said, "Hey, friend of the show." Because I say that because she's been on here. I don't know if she remembers. Kristi Cates was doing a concert. Yeah, she was doing a concert on Twitch on a Monday night. I think it was a Monday. And you should jump over there and watch. And I'm like, well, damn straight I'm going to watch. So I go over there, and she does a whole little show, her and her guitar, just playing songs, singing. Be very attentive to the chat, and taking suggestions of songs that she could do for future shows and stuff. So she's now doing a regular show every Saturday night on her Twitch channel, which is Twitch TV/Kristi Cates. That's KRISTIKATES for the listeners. And she plays about 4 hours or so on Saturdays. And I don't know if it's a practice session for her to go and do live shows on the road or anything, or if it's strictly going to be a Twitch thing for a while. Whatever it is it's just delightful to watch. Now, there is a big chat that shows up for this. Friends of ours, like Phil Rude, JF DeBow, Beatmaster, of course, is thrown in there a lot. I've seen some other people that I know from Twitch, from the Ink Geek Studios group. All of them are in there, and she chats back and forth with them. I haven't been in the chat as much because usually I'm watching it on my Roku through the Twitch channel on there.
Yep.
But I just have it up, and it's like getting a semi-private concert where you can give suggestions. She's got a playlist that you can choose songs for her to perform from. It's so much fun. She is incredibly talented, both in her personality of working with the audience and working a room, essentially, but also in her singing, and her song choices are some of my favorites. She did Crowded House this last week, which is one of my favorite tunes. She does the church. She does a lot of different things that if I was going to ask her to learn songs, they would be at the top of my list of her to do, and she's already doing them. A lot of Amy Mann and stuff too. So that's really is all there is to say about it. Kristi Cates is very talented. It's great to just listen to some great music for a little while and enjoy a show in the privacy of your own home on your TV or on your tablet or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that like I personally have been wanting to watch because I hear her. She is one of the few of the select people that I have on Twitter that the notifications or whenever she posts, it notifies me. And not to make that sound creepy or anything. But it's, it's mainly because, I follow a lot of people, and the flow, it's easier to select people. It's like, oh, hey, they posted, what did they post? Oh, cool. Boom, get into that and see what they're doing. Like Schwood Black Ops is one that I have as well. And so she started posting this. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then it's like I would get home, and it's weird because I would catch it at work, like her posting like, oh, I'm training or I'm practicing to get ready for the show tonight. And then I would get home, completely forget. Like it's like, all right, what am I going to do? Oh, let's read a comic book, or let's play, a game or whatever. And then just escapes my mind.
Yeah, I get notified from Twitch itself.
Yeah.
Which lets me know when she's starting. And yeah, both of the shows that she's got recorded on her Twitch channel, they're 5 hours each.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's definitely one of those things that like I am going to check out. and and I'm hoping she sees this and will be wanting to come back, because I have questions for her, honestly, about this. Because I'm a sound guy. I'm a behind the scenes when it comes to music. Making sure that they sound good, somewhat decent with how my skills are. It's so, it's like, I'm curious as to the on stage side of things, learning more about that, and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely think people should check that out at twitch.tv/Kristi Kates, with KRISTI KATES. Yeah. So Corey, did you check out my nerding out or my ElseViews?
I haven't seen it yet. I had only seen a couple episodes of the show while it was airing before it was canceled. But I'm definitely interested in watching this episode that didn't make it to air.
Yeah, so this is because I think, what was it, last week we talked, or no, it was last time you were on. We talked about the passing of Adam West.
No, I was not here for that.
Oh, that was last week. Yep, sorry, that was last week. Sorry, remember. Sorry, that's right, because we had alternative Corey, Sean Burns on.
We'll just go with better Corey.
I think we did say that too. But we talked about the passing of Adam West, and as a tribute, DC released on their YouTube channel the episode of Powerless that he cameoed in. And holy Batman callback, was this a great episode. If I thinking correctly, hopefully thinking correctly, this, I believe, would have been the next episode of Powerless, to air before they just pulled it off of the schedule and stuff like that. This, I would have seen I could imagine seeing a big bump in ratings. Coming, even you excuse the timeline, you excuse them, releasing this as a tribute to Adam West, them playing, one of his last appearances on TV, one of the last things he filmed. I look at this as a great episode. Adam West was great in here. There's a lot of callbacks and Easter eggs to the 66 Batman. You have Vanessa Hudgens' character. She comes in wearing one of the other characters' shirts in the main story. She gets this condo, and then it gets blown up by aliens from this other planet, and it involves a very Donald Trump-ish Lex Luthor, because there's no foreshadowing in that at all, who is behind a lot of these things. And so her apartment is blown up, so the coworkers decide to get to help her out. One of them gives her one of her sweaters that fits her like a dress, so she's wearing it like a dress. And so the first thing you see from Adam, or hear from Adam West, is why, in the full like Batman style, like, "Why, hello, Catwoman." Sort of that sounded more like Leonard Nimoy or something like that, or Sulu. I don't know what. I'm horrible at doing impressions, but it was like that. "Why, hello, Catwoman." God, fuck it, I'm not even gonna try anymore.
You can't do Adam West if you're not Adam West.
It was in that style, which was so great to hear. And they do twice. They have him talking to the camera, doing the, which I don't think he ever did in the TV show. I don't think he ever did the whole, what will we find our characters out in next? Tune in next week.
No, that was usually the announcer. There was a narrator for the show that did all that stuff.
Yeah, so he did those parts, and it was like, am I watching like a weird Elseworlds episode of the Batman TV show from 1966?
Elseworlds, huh? That sounds dangerously close to a podcast.
Yeah. But no, it was a really fun episode. A great tribute. I love these things. I applaud DC for doing this when they did.
I do as well. And for NBC if they had to sign off on anything allowing it to happen. It's sort of, I mean, not only is it unfortunate because Adam West's last role, his passing and everything else, but a lot of people are discovering this show because of this.
Yeah.
Because they're looking to see the Adam West episode that he was on that hadn't aired, and it being released is now building interest in this show. I'm seeing comments on the YouTube channel of like, hey, this show isn't really bad. And by people who didn't check it out when it was on, and now in hindsight are like, oh, I'd like to probably see more of this. And it was canceled, you know, which is, sometimes it's not that a show isn't good enough to be on the air and continue. It's just that the audience didn't find it or didn't think enough of it to check it out at that point in time. Maybe, oh, I'll get to it later on when it's on Netflix or whatever. And they lose the ability to get more of it by the time they finally do get around to it because it didn't have anybody viewing it at the time. I'm not saying NBC was wrong to cancel it if the numbers weren't there. It's just always sad, especially because there were so many people that we are personally fans of that were on the show. Yeah. And what I'd seen of it, I liked, but I'm not excusing myself for the fact that I didn't keep watching it either. I caught it here and there, and I liked it some when I watched it, and it certainly had better moments than others. But yeah, it's doubly sad that people who are now going, oh, Powerless, this is pretty good, didn't get to enjoy it when it was on, that maybe it would continue. It's kind of like the people who all were like, hey, this Arrested Development show that I'm watching on Netflix is fantastic. Where has this been all my life? It was on Fox, but Fox wouldn't tell you about it. And, but somehow it kept winning Emmys. So you could have picked up on that guy.
It's so I look at I'm looking at some, like, the comments they're talking. So many people are talking about like where it would go. And I could see Powerless, and if I remember correctly, and I'm actually going to do look at the Wikipedia, but I could see this falling into a similar situation that Supergirl had. To talk about the TV series here for a second, where for NBC to air it, there's a big portion of it, even though it was developed by Warner Brothers. I could still see, this being a, they have to pay so much just for the licensing of the characters.
Kind of like what happened in the Tim Allen comedy show that got canceled.
Yeah, similar with that. But okay, so this wasn't even, there was 3 episodes. Sorry, I'm getting off track. But so I could see this fitting in, like some people are mentioning, and they were mentioning like, something like TBS, because it's also a Warner owned company, where it would fit it. And I could see that it would be a little too clean for a lot of the shows that are on TBS.
Where TBS is going with their comedy, and they are developing a lot of good shows right now.
Oh yeah,
it would be a different feel. CBS maybe. Their streaming service that they're about to launch with the Star Trek Discovery is a possibility if they want to continue with it. That's if these people haven't already moved on and found other gigs. I remember when Community went off NBC and got picked up by Yahoo. I very much enjoyed that last season, but it was a very different feeling show by the time it got around to that. Losing some of the actors and characters already at that point in time made it tough to get that magic back. And that's for those of us who are willing to go look for it in these places. And that was free, let alone putting it on a pay service where people are already determining if they want to spend the $7 a month to watch the couple of shows that are there.
Yeah. So there were 3 episodes that hadn't aired. No Consequence Day, and these episodes all sound great. And then, When Luther Draws, the one that they did air on CBS All Access later, or not CBS, on YouTube. When Luther Draw is the Adam West episode, and then Van of the Year is the first season finale. But No Consequence Day, talks about, in wake of Lois Lane's death, Ron tells the team about a theory where Superman will rewind time to save her, and there will be no consequences, and there would be no consequences. When Luther Draw is, Chairman West, I wonder who that is, delivers some unfortunate news to Van and Emily. Meanwhile, Jackie gets a shocking surprise that will change her life. Van of the Year is the season finale, where Emily deals with Van stealing credit for her generosity at the office. Meanwhile, Teddy pushes Ron to get his new invention to the masses. Those are all the plot synopses, like things from Wikipedia. Like, I would love to see the other 2 episodes, because I did enjoy the show, and it's like, I want to see more. Honestly, that's the big thing, is I want to see more from this because of how it ended. And I do feel like there was so much stuff that could have been. I could see this being done really well, especially just for what the show is.
It definitely seems like, with the way that we have so many options, there's no reason to not have a show be able to finish airing its episodes in one format or another. Maybe NBC doesn't want to put it on the air because they don't have the advertising that they would lose by airing it in place of something else. Although, I got to be fucking honest, I don't see a lot of shit on NBC that looks like it's bringing in big numbers. They've abandoned Friday nights again, right? Or it seems like a lot of stations are like, on Friday nights we just replay the shit we played in the week.
Friday, it seems like that. But I think the big part, and this is weird, because it's like, looking at the US viewers in millions. The pilot for Limitless had 3.1 million. The lowest episode was called I'm a Friend You, which is Crimson Fox. Is the second part of her arc with I'm blanking on the actress's name. Natalie Morales. She, it was the exit of her. That got a 1.81, and then it stayed, in the low 2s, at 2.02, 2.04, 2.03 with the last episode, Emergency Punch Up, that ended. All in all, I look at that, and that's not over the course of, 9 episodes, yeah, that's pretty steep of a drop to go from 3.1 to 2.3 million viewers. I wonder how much of that would be demographic, like if they're not hitting the right demographic that they needed, or what that was.
Well, again, the same thing is, you have to look at, are the changes, did we drop a show because the show wasn't doing well, or did we drop the show because we had other ideas for what to do with this time slot, and where things were getting moved around, it didn't fit into what the next season was going to be? Because again, that's the excuse they gave with Last Man Standing. It wasn't that Last Man Standing didn't have good numbers. It's that they decided to put Friday nights into a different kind of show territory, and they didn't have a place to put Last Man Standing that made sense on their schedule throughout the week. And they didn't feel like it would succeed in the same way there. And it was an expensive show for them, because it was made by, I think, produced by Fox, as opposed to produced in-house by Disney. There's a lot of factors that come into it, and it's not always about numbers. It's not always about ratings. But again, if the stuff's already produced and you have it and you're just sitting on it, let the audience have that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a sign of goodwill. It's something that it just makes sense to do. Just sitting there and letting it burn up in a closet like old Doctor Who episodes doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, and what does it hurt you, in all honesty?
Right.
I mean,
even if you make me go to NBC.com and watch it on your goddamn browser with your fucking pop-up ads and shit, if I choose to do that, you're just paying for fucking hosting.